And hello there. We'd like to welcome you into the Philly and Fred show for Sunday, March 1st, 2026. On today's episode, we're going to give you our Mount Rushmore of tight ends. We're going to give you the NFC North rankings for next year. And on the NBA side of it, we're going to give you the greatest Lakers and Celtics, or who we think they are of all time. And we'll end with a couple true or falses. Alrighty, so on to the first subject for today's show. Philly, who's on your Mount Rushmore of tight ends?
Yeah, the first head that's going to be on my Mount Rushmore of tight ends is going to be Shannon Sharp. He really changed the position of the tight end, became more than just a blocking tight end, and he also won 3 Super Bowls. The next head on my list is going to be Rob Gronkowski, known as Gronk, one of the most dominant football players we've ever seen. He won 4 Super Bowls in just 11 short years with the Patriots. Next head on my list will be Travis Kelce, top 5 in receptions, yards, and touchdowns by a tight end all time. Also won 3 Super Bowls. And in the first head, it's going to be Tony Gonzalez, most receptions and yards all time by a tight end. Really changed position as well. So,
Alrighty, that's it for his heads. My heads on the Mount Rushmore of tight ends. The first head on my Mount Rushmore of tight ends is Shannon Sharp. 10,000 yards, 62 touchdowns. And doing that when he did that in the late 80s and the 90s, that was really unheard of for a tight end to do what he did. He was a great blocking tight end. Not a great blocking, but a good blocking tight end, but the first of his kind really as a receiver. Play him almost at receiver tight end. And Elway talks about it. He was one of Elway's favorite targets. Next head on my list, Tony Gonzalez, 15,000 yards, most for a tight end ever, 111 touchdowns. He's sixth on the most receiving yards of all time list, whether it be receivers or tight ends. Next head, Gronk, 9,200 yards, 92 touchdowns, longest yards per receptions for tight ends. And we know what type of blocking tight end he was. He had 4 AP first teams. In the last head on my list, Travis Kelce, most yards per game by a tight end, 13,000 receiving yards, 82 receiving touchdowns, and was AP first team 4 times. And, oh, yeah, by the way, 2,000 yards and 20 touchdowns in the playoffs. So that gets you on the Mount Rushmore of tight ends. And that's my list. Next list, we're going to give our NFC North rankings. What do you think the NFC North looks like next year, Philly?
yeah, my NFC North is going to look like at 4. I'm going to have the Detroit Lions. I really think they missed their window for getting to a Super Bowl. And Jared Goff is getting a little bit older. You lost your OC and DC last year, Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, both leaving the jobs. And you see how that offense and defense kind of really struggled this year. So I think they missed their opportunity. And I'm really not a fan of Dan Campbell. I think his aggressiveness is going to get him hurt in a lot of games. So 3, I'll go Vikings. I do think J.J. McCarthy improves this upcoming season. One of the worst quarterbacks that there was last season, and the Vikings still managed to win 9 games. So I think you can't get worse than that. I only see improvements from this Vikings team on both sides of the ball. 2, I'm going to go my Bears. I think Caleb Williams improves, hits his easy throws. We saw the flashes this year from the offense and defense. I do think there's a few things that won't be in our favor this year, like leading the league in takeaways and leading the league in game-winning drives the last 2 minutes when trailing. But I think we'll start games off faster, and they'll make an emphasis of that. 1, I hate to do this, but I'll go the Packers. This is pretty much just a consistent team each year, and they've only had one losing season the last 7, so I expect them to be anywhere in that 9 to 12 win uh, team. And you lost your best defensive player and best offensive weapon last year, still managed to win. I think it was either 9 or 10 games. So get those guys back healthy, and I think they'll be right at the top in this NFC North. Who's your list, Fred?
Yeah, my list, I'm going to start out 4 Vikings. Like you said, JJ, I don't know what they're going to do at quarterback. I've heard Kyler Murray, Kirk Cousins. I've heard some options they think they might go with. It depends on the quarterback. The roster's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. So they need to find out a quarterback. That's what you got to do. And the other three teams in this division have found out their quarterback. And at 3, I'm going to go Bears. And this isn't like I don't think they completely come back down to earth. I think they still go 9-8, probably 10-7 or better. But I think this division is going to go back to being one of the best divisions in football. I'm going to have the Packers at 2. I mean, they were, I think, 9-3-1 before the Parsons injury. So he's coming back next year. And he's going to make an impact. He's going to be one of the top edge rushers. He's going to change that defense like he did last year. And I think the Lions get back on track. They had 2 years in a row, 12-5 NFC Championship game. And then the next year, 15-2. I think they figure out the interior line problem. And I think the defense finally, after a couple years, doesn't get injured as much. And I think they finish number 1 in the NFC East and get back to what they were the 2 years before last year. That's it for the NFC North rankings. Next, I'm going to mention some of these guys at this combine because I think some of these guys are on that program that Steve Rogers was on when he became Captain America. Because Taylor Green, the quarterback for Arkansas, he's 6'6". He runs a 4.37. He has a 43-inch vertical. Brendan Thompson, the Mississippi State receiver, ran a 4.26 40. Jeff Caldwell, he's 6'5". And he's 216. He runs a 4.32 40. And Jeremiah Love runs a 4.36. And we know how agile and tough he was to bring down. And he's got breakaway speed like that. And then we didn't even mention possibly the biggest freak, which is Styles. And, 6'5", 244. He runs either a 4.45 or a 4.47. And he jumps 43 inches. He's got better measurables than Calvin Johnson, and he plays linebacker. Like that's just insane to hear those measurables and that athleticism at that size and that tackling ability. So, but the one final thing I will say about the draft, GMs, please don't not draft a guy or draft a guy because of their measurables and not because of their game tape. Because I've been seeing people go, oh, is Caleb Downs still a top 5 pick? Because he's not tall, he doesn't have super long arms. And that kind of confused me because it was like, well, didn't you watch the guy all year? Like, did the TV give you an optical illusion that you thought his arms were longer than they were? Did you think he was taller than he was? Like, I don't understand that when they're like, oh, after his measurables came out, like, I don't know if he's a top 5 pick. It's like, well, are you an idiot? Do you have no grasp of, like, how tall someone is or how, like, did you think he had 8-foot arms? When you watched him, he was not a big guy. Wasn't a big guy. Wasn't insanely fast. Didn't have long arms. But, his game tape doesn't lie. You put on the tape, he's a great tackler. He's got great, vision. He knows what he's looking at. And he knows how to dial up, any play they're running. He knows what they're running. So, that confused me, and it always does because it's the same thing they did with Derrick Henry. Like, Derrick Henry's cone drill. He doesn't move side to side well. And then it's like, well, aren't these the same teams that complain when their running back goes side to side instead of north to south? So, yeah, GMs don't watch all those games and then let a couple silly drills or combine measurables affect your decision. But do you have any thoughts on the combine, like some of that stuff they've done?
No, I completely agree with what you said. This year it seems like there's a lot of quick guys. Two of the guys in the top 10 all time in the 40 dash are from this year's combine. So it's a lot of freak athletes in this upcoming draft, it seems like. But yeah, I wouldn't buy into all the stock just because somebody doesn't particularly run a drill so fast. I know we've mentioned the Colin Lacey, how he ran slow. And it's like on tape, he was maybe the best punt/kick returner of all of last season and ran a 4.55. So I wouldn't buy all into if you do something negatively in the combine.
Yeah, because it is hilarious how that happens. Like, they watch 12 games or 2 years worth of tape, and then they watch him run a 40, and they're like, oh man, that guy's a first rounder. It's like, really?
Yeah.
It was just like Richardson. I watched him play. I never thought he was a top 5 pick. But then he jumps really high. He has long arms. He's tall and he's strong. And it's like, well, I'm not going to lie to you. None of those affect how good you are at quarterback.
Right.
Greatest quarterback of all time was slow as hell had
Yeah.
probably, looked like a slob, honestly. He looked like a loser that sits on his couch, but yet he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. So, like, that look and, like, speed that, like, you watch it on the field. Some guys are quicker on the field. I know we talked about this. They always said Lamar was a 4.4 guy. I don't believe that. He's faster than a 4.4 guy because the amount of times corners and safeties ran either 4.3s or 4.2s, and he outran those guys and made those guys look silly. I was like, I guess he technically ran this 40 that speed, but on a football field, he's a lot quicker than that. But yeah, I saw a couple of those things. And then another two guys to mention that were insanely freakish was Siddick, the tight end from Oregon, and then Stovers, the tight end. I don't remember where he was from, but the other one of the top tight ends in the draft was also. I think they were both 4.4 or under at tight ends and big as hell. So yeah, a lot of freaks in this year's draft. But that's it for the NFL portion of the show. On to the NBA portion. And we're going to start out with start, bench, cut. Who you starting, who you benching, who you cutting out of our shooting guard segment? MJ, Kobe, or D Wade?
Yeah, I'm gonna start MJ. Probably not a surprise to a lot of people. Is the GOAT in a lot of people's minds. Um, really like the greatest NBA player of all time. Could do anything. Won lots of NBA championships. Was the best player on all of them. So MJ, not a surprise that I'm starting him. But this may surprise some people. I'm gonna bench D Wade, my favorite player of all time. You see him rocking my Heat right here. I think he was arguably maybe the best shooting guard in terms of going downhill. He could hit you with the Euro step. He could dunk on your starting center, whoever. He could stop on a dime, shoot that mid range shot. D Wade, his head to head numbers versus Kobe, they're almost identical. They're very similar. So D Wade, I'm a bench, and then Kobe, I'm a cut. Was an elite. He was an elite two-way player. Could take over a game at any point. Obviously, we know the championships, the MVPs, the scoring leaders, but that's ultimately who I'm gonna cut.
Alrighty. For my list, I'm going to start out my list by cutting D Wade, and it's closer than people think because D Wade was unbelievable when he was in his prime. I mean, that 2006 Finals, how good he was and how much he dragged that team. I don't think it's talked about enough. And people seen him at the end when he was with LeBron when he was injured, but in his prime, I mean, like you said, I don't know if there's ever been a guard that could go downhill better than him. I'm going to bench Kobe. I mean, everybody says it. He's the MJ clone, but I don't think he's better than MJ. So I'm going to bench Kobe and I'm going to start MJ. Like you said, at the worst, the second greatest player of all time. So yeah, that's my list there. Next one, start, bench, cut. Footwork bigs. Hakeem, Tim Duncan, or Kareem. I ain't gonna lie, I'm going to start out. If we're going just off feet work, I'm going to bench Kareem because, I mean, he had the sky hook, but that's not feet work. Had great feet work for a big, and especially back in when he played, it was great feet work. But I'm still going to cut him. I'm going to bench Tim Duncan because Tim Duncan, they called him Mr. Fundamental, but I can't take him over Akeem. I mean, when you got a move that they named after you, and then I mean, you've seen all the bigs he's trained to help their feet work. I mean, when LeBron wanted to work on his post game, where'd he go to? He went to Hakeem. So I'm gonna cut Kareem, I'm gonna bench Tim Duncan, and I'm gonna start Hakeem when it comes to footwork for bigs. What's your start bench cut?
Yeah, I'm gonna also start off with cutting Kareem. Obviously, he came with the sky hook, but I just think the two guys in front of him just had phenomenal feet work. So yeah, I'm gonna bench Tim Duncan. More of a slower guy, but still the best power forward of all time, in my opinion. He had pretty much every move you can make in the paint. And then I'm gonna also start Hakeem Olajuwon, creator of the Dream Shake. Guys that guarded him said like that Dream Shake was literally unstoppable to guard. Y'all should go watch it on YouTube if you haven't heard of it. So same list for me.
Yeah, young kids probably don't know about Hakeem. And I say that like we're not 25, but we know about Hakeem. I've seen plenty of tapes. I mean, I've seen him giving Shaq the business. And like I said, when you got LeBron and you got other legends, or well, other young stars going to him when they want to help their feet work, I mean, the guys gotta have outstanding feet work. And the last one, the mid-range sniper edition, start bench cut, Melo, KD, Kobe, and I'm gonna cut Kobe. I think he's the worst mid-range shooter out of these guys. I know he's got the great feet work, and I know he still is a sniper when it comes to the mid-range, but I got to cut him, and I'm going to bench Melo. Melo, I mean, you go back and watch him. That guy was unbelievable. From the corner, right there at that 15 to 18-foot range, I mean, he would face you up. He would jab step, and I mean, he made so many jumpers right in people's faces. It was, I mean, even if you contested, it didn't matter. He could get it off in a phone booth. And I'm going to start KD. I don't think I've ever seen him miss a mid-range jump shot from that elbow. And somehow no one can ever stop him from getting to that elbow. And when he gets to that elbow, you know it's in every time. So, yeah, I'm going to start KD. I think he's the best mid-range jump shooter, possibly the best scorer in the history of the NBA. What's your list?
Yeah, I'm gonna cut Melo. Hard list. I'm gonna cut Melo. Phenomenal score. Could score from anywhere, literally on the floor. He was automatic from mid range, but I think Kobe was just a slight tad better. So I'm gonna bench Kobe. I mean, this guy was shooting fadeaways over two guys uh, in the mid range and could knock it down at any point in the game. So I'm gonna go Kobe bench, and then I'm gonna start KD. He's called Easy Money Sniper for a reason. You know, if he shoots a mid range, you expect it to go in. A mid range for him is literally like a dunk or layup to some folk. So every time KD shoots a mid range, you expect it to go in. So easy money snipers start from me.
All righty. That's it for Start Bench Cut for this show. Next, we're going to do a little series here. We're going to go through every team in the NBA and name the five best players in what we think the five best players are in that franchise's history. And I'll start on this one. I think the top five players in Celtics history, I'm going to start out with five. Paul Pierce. I mean, he won a title. He has 10 All-Star games appearances. And he brought back success, even though he had a little help. He brought back success when they had been struggling for a while. Four, John Havlicek. I mean, guy won 8 titles, was a 13-time All-Star. I mean, and just one of the builders of that great organization. 3, I'm going to go Jason Tatum. And the reason I have Jason Tatum over Havlicek and some of these other Celtics legends is because he was the number one option, and he won the championship as number one option. And he's a 4-time first All-NBA player. Like, people have kind of forgot about him with the Achilles, but I think he's that great to be third best and have a chance to be number one, maybe number 2. But next, number 2, Larry Bird. 3 titles, 3 MVPs, 9-time first team All NBA. I mean, led those great 80s Celtics teams against Magic Johnson. And if it wasn't for a shortened career, he maybe has a couple more MVPs and a couple more titles. But number 1 on the list, Bill Russell, 11 NBA titles and 5 MVPs. I don't think it gets better than that. It's tough to put anybody over him, and I'm not. I'm going Bill Russell, number 1. What's your list, Philly?
Yeah, my Celtics list is going to start off at number 5, Kevin McHale, one of the best power forwards of all time. Was on those great championship teams with Larry Bird during the 80s, won 3 of them. 4, I'll go John Havlicek, won 8 championships. Like you said, one of the starters for this Celtics franchise and the all-time leading scorer in Celtics history. 3, I'll go Paul Pierce. Really brought back the Celtics in the early 2000s, brought them a championship. Second all-time on the Celtics all-time scoring list. So I'll go Paul Pierce in number 3. 2, I'll go Larry Bird. Also on those 80 championship teams, won 3 titles, won 3 MVPs. We know one of the greatest players of all time. And then 1, I'll go Bill Russell. Won 11 championships in just 13 years. That's really unheard of, no matter what era you're playing in. That's insane. So, and like you said, 5 MVPs to go with it. So,
All righty, that's it for the Celtics top 5. This is the Lakers top 5 list. I think the 5th best player in Lakers history is Jerry West. I mean, guy was the logo. 27 points per game, 7 assists per game, 6 rebounds per game. I know he had the one title and had a bunch of losses, but I think that's a great enough resume to be top 5. 4, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 5 titles, 3 finals MVPs, or well, 3 MVPs, my fault. 3, Shaq. 3 titles, 3 finals MVPs, and in 8 years in LA in the playoffs, he averaged 28 points per game, 13 rebounds per game, shooting 57% in the playoffs. Like, I don't think there's ever been a more dominant player in the game, and especially for an 8-year stretch like that to be that good in the playoffs every year. I got him at 3. 2, Magic Johnson, 5 titles, 3 MVPs, 3 finals MVPs, and he's first in assists in Lakers history and number 1, Kobe Bean Bryant. 5 championships and the franchise leading scorer in Lakers history. So yeah, I got Kobe Bean at 1.
Yeah, I'll start off at number 5. I'll also go Jerry West. They called him Mr. Clutch. Was really the start of the Lakers franchise and their success in the 60s and 70s. And he also got Finals MVP in his only championship win. 4, I'll go Shaq, 3-time champ, 3-time Finals MVP, and he was truly dominant during the three-peat that the Lakers had with Kobe and Shaq. 4, I'll go Kareem, created the skyhook, 5-time NBA champ. 2, I'll go Kobe, also a 5-time NBA champ, spent his 20 years all in a Lakers jersey, and had 60 points in his last career game, which is quite crazy at around 40 years old. 1, I'm going to go Magic, also a 5-time NBA champion, 3-time MVP. His career was cut short, but I mean, I still think he was the greatest Laker of all time. If he had played another 5 years, he probably would have won a few more championships. So I'll go Magic as the best Laker of all time.
Well, and I'm going to be honest. I think players would. I mean, I know which he still looks great today, but I mean that's pretty. You got your career shortened by getting too much box, basically. Like, it'd be
Yeah,
different if
yeah.
you tore your
Injury.
ACL, your Achilles. But I mean, yeah, he got so much box that's why he had to retire because he got AIDS. But look at
Yeah,
that, look at him now. He looks healthy as a horse. Yeah.
yeah.
Love to get your hands. I wish regular people could get their hands on what celebrities and people with money get. But hey, that's not the way the world works. That's it for the rankings list. Like I said, we will be doing that every episode with 2 different franchises, and we will do that until we are through all the franchises. Next thing, true or false? The first one. True or false? LeBron made a mistake going to LA, and I'm going to go false because he got a championship, and I think it was partly basketball and partly to really start his after basketball business ventures. And I think he's probably done that. And I mean, he's already made a movie when he's been out there. Like I said, he won a championship. Like, I think maybe the last couple years wasn't what he envisioned, but if you told LeBron you're living in LA, you get to do movies, you get to produce stuff, and you get to win a championship, I think he'd say that's a success. So I'm going to say it's false that it was a mistake for him going to LA.
Yeah, I'll also go false. Won an NBA championship there, I believe his first season there. And I feel like he kind of wanted to get out on the West Coast. He had spent his whole career on the East Side, so I think he wanted to change his scenery up. And I think it surprised a lot of people who went to LA because obviously with their story franchise, all the great players that went there, they thought he would kind of mess up his career. But like you said, the last few years haven't been what he's envisioned. But I mean, his son's playing with him. I don't know if we'll ever see that son that watched him grow up and really live his life in the NBA has kind of followed in his footsteps and is playing with him. So I don't think it was a mistake of him going to the Lakers either.
All righty, next one. True or false? Steph and LeBron are in the same conversation, and I'm going to go true. And I'm going to say this not saying that Steph and LeBron are near each other in all-time rankings, which I think Steph's the best point guard of all time and a top 10 player. And I think he's around 9 to 10-ish and LeBron's 1 or 2. But like people acting like Steph's not the same conversation. Like it's kind of crazy because like he did win 3 titles in the 4 times he played LeBron. And that team in 2022, you're not going to find a superstar that's led a worse team to a championship. Because if you look at LeBron, you look at Kobe, you look at MJ, you look at the teams they've led to championships. Have they ever had a player be the second best player, be worse than Andrew Wiggins? I mean, and you had old Clay and old Draymond. Like this thing of like Steph's nowhere near LeBron, I think it's silly. Like I said, I think LeBron's a better player. He's 1 or 2 all time, and I think Steph's 8 or 9. But this thought of like, oh, I mean, saying Steph with LeBron's outrageous, and I'm like that. I don't think that's true. And they played in the same area. They met in the finals. Steph's had more success in the finals against LeBron. So I think this is true. But what are your thoughts?
I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna go false. And I don't think, and this is not discrediting Steph. I think Steph is an all-time great. Obviously, they've went head to head. Steph has got the better half of LeBron, but I think that's mainly due to the Warriors just having a better roster than the Cavaliers at the time. But I mean, what LeBron has done, the spotlight has always been on him ever since he got in the NBA, and he's just had a lot of like shoes to fill since he's gotten to the league. And I just think he's kind of on it's like him and MJ at the top, and then kind of like everyone else. Now, I do think when you're thinking of this era, like this new era, you think of LeBron, and then it's KD, Steph, and those guys. But I think LeBron, he's kind of in a world of his own, to say the least. So
All righty. That's it for the true or false. Last thought I really have for the show. Like I thought about this not watching, but seeing some of the stats. Like I seen Knipple is like shooting crazy amount of threes, and I know what Donovan Mitchell and some of these other guys like. It's kind of sad but true that the greatest shooter of all time will not have basically any shooting records because the way these dudes are shooting threes now, especially coming out, like they're all going to break his 3-pointers probably made in a season, which was unbelievable. Which the difficulty which he shot him at and percentage which shot him at is crazy, but like these dudes are shooting so much so early now, and he really had injuries his first couple years. So hilariously, I think the best shooter of all time might not have any shooting records when it's all said and done because of the way they're shooting threes. Did you have any thoughts on that?
yeah, it is interesting with the way the game is played now. Obviously, you shoot threes more than you do layups. I mean, it's kind of crazy. A 3-on-1 fast break is a 3-point shot more times than not. But I think Steph will. I think he's gonna hold it for a long time because I don't think these shooters can shoot as efficiently as he did. So I think it's gonna be a long while before somebody breaks it. Knipple could be one of those guys that gets up there in the talk, but I think Steph's gonna hold those records for a long time.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to add on to today's show?
I don't know. I think that's it.
All righty. We'll see y'all next week.